So good. Today we're going to be looking at the solo from The Sin of the Sentence by Trivium. I love it so much. The new album's so good. Anyway, let's take a look. Guys, so before you get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is on a 7th string. We're just down half a step. So it's sort of a B flat standard. We're going B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat again, and another E flat. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. Just a quick disclaimer, I have seen Matt Heafy play this in live videos and playthrough performances, and he does play it like this. With these big stretches on the 2nd string. Now me, if you've got little mittens and you want to avoid that, I'm actually alternating between the B string and the G string. So you can learn it my way or you can adjust it to play it exactly like he does. I don't mind. We're going to start from 13 of the 2nd string. This is going to be kind of a pedal note. We're going to get sort of that Bachy Beethoven vibe here. And using that 13 as a pedal, I'm going to play 13 of the 2nd string, then 12, 13, 10, 13. Then I want to play 12 of the 3rd and 13 of the 2nd. And that little phrase is going to resolve to 11. Okay, then I want to do a very similar vibe on this chunk as well. So this little lick is voiced very similarly. 12 is going to be my new pedaling friend. I'm going to play 12 to start on the 2nd string, and then I'm going to play 10, 12, 8, 12. I'm then going to jump to 11 of the 3rd string, then play 12 of the 2nd, and resolve that on 9 of the 3rd. So back to back. Okay, the next chunk is also quite similar. Let's slow that down. 10 is going to be my new pedal note on the 2nd string once again. I'm going to play 10, and then 8, 10, 7, 10. Then I jump to 9 of the 3rd string, back to my pedal note on 10, and then I go into this phrase, which is exactly the same thing twice. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 8, 9, and then sliding to 11 on the 3rd string. Then I go back to 9, and then I've got a hammer on from 8 to 9, and then I want to just play 8 again. So all together. And as I said before, we want to just play exactly the same thing twice in a row. At the end of that, I'm going to resolve that to 9 before we start the 2nd section. So let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. Now the second half of this section is going to be quite similar. It's just going to have a slight variant at the end. So the first chunk, we're going to borrow that. That's going to be exactly the same, but just have a cheeky harmony behind it. Second chunk exactly the same. Third chunk exactly the same up until this point. Slightly different end. So the first little part that I had there, exactly the same as what we had at the end of the first section, except I'm not going to play exactly the same thing twice. We're going to replace the second one with 8, 9 and a slide to 11. So that's relatively similar, but then I'm going to jump straight to 8. And then quickly jump to 12, 14. And that's the whole first section. So they are very similar, but I'll play both halves back to back at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. I want to start from 14 of the third string, and then jump to 14 of the third, and then I'm going to play 13, 14 on the third string. At the end of that, I'm going to work into this little hammer-on pull-off phrase. I'm playing 12, 13, 12 as a hammer-on pull-off on the second string, and then jumping to 14 of the string above, and then going back to 12 of the second string. This is what we should have thus far. I followed that up. This is exactly the same kind of phrase as what we just had. I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off, but I'm jumping to a different fret on the string above. So I'm on the first string playing 12, 13, 12 as a hammer-on pull-off. I jump to 15 of the second, and then back down to 12 of the first. At the end of that, I'm playing 15, 13, 12, 13 on the second string. Now, one thing I will say is that joining those hammer-on phrases, having two pointer fingers ending on the first one and then starting on the next group does feel a little bit weird. Just be patient with yourselves with that one. It is a bit of a pain in the ass. Let's have a look at what we should have thus far. Okay, after that I work into this phrase. What I'm doing here is I'm playing 13, 14, then sliding into 16 on the third, and then going back to 14. If you want to add some sexy vibrato, go for it. After that, I'm going to play 14, 16, 17 on the third string, and then play 18, 17, 15 on the second. That's going to sound like this. Let's go from the previous chunk now. And that's obviously got the harmony over it. Then we've got this massive descend run. Let's take our time with this one. I want to play 20, 19, 17 on the first string, then 18, 17, 15 on the second. Then I want to play 17, 16 twice on the third. And then end that by playing 14 to 13 on the third string. Sorry. So let's try doing that from 20 the first string. After that, I'm going to play 15, 14, 12 on the fourth string and resolve to 14 of the fifth. So we're going to go... Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far, and then we'll add the final chunk. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into this phrase. So I've got a bit of a hammer-on thing, and then just some cheeky staggered triplets rather. So what I'm doing here, very similar to what we had before, hammer-on pull-off going 12, 13, 12 on the second. I do have a little bit of hesitation before the hammer-on though. So I'm going 12, 13, 12, and then jumping to 14 of the third string. And then I go like this. So those two triplets that I'm doing there are playing 14, 13 on the third string. Then I want to play 15, 14 on the fourth and fifth string. So that whole last chunk. And that'll get us ready for section 3. So let's try the whole section from the start at a gentleman's pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at the third section. This is going to start off with a massive shred. I'm going to start from 11th fret of the 5th string, and I'm going to play 11, 12, 14 twice. I'm then going to jump to the 12th fret of the 4th string and play 12, 14, 15 3 times. All together. Okay, I then jump to 13 of the 3rd string, and I'm going to play 13, 14, 16 twice. And then just 13, 14. So I've got the two groups of 3 and then a group of 2. And that's going to resolve on 17 of the 2nd string. So all together. From that point, I'm going to play 15, 17, 18 twice on the 2nd string. And then resolve that to 17. And then that's going to jump to 19 of the 1st string. So all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Apologies for that little cock up. And then we're going to go like this. I'm just going to play 16, 17, 19 twice on the 1st string. Exactly the same thing twice. And then from that point, I go into this phrase. It's exactly the same thing twice. This is a 4-note phrase. I'm playing 20, 22, 20, 19. And then I do it again. I've got a regular 22 and then 2 bends. So let's just try from the 1st string now. So just remember that there's just a cheeky single 22 before the double bend. Let's have a look at what we've got and then we'll work on the last chunk. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Now this last little chunk, there is a little bit of whammy in it, so due to my lameness, I'm assuming some of you will be in the same situation as me, having a 7th string with no whammy. We suck and we know it, so we're just going to have to make do with some bends and some creative slides. So if you're cool enough out there to have a 7th string with whammy, good on you. Anyway, let's have a look at this last chunk. All right, what I've got at the start of that is a bend from 19 of the 1st string. Then I go back to 17. And then I'm going to play 19, 17, 16. So all together. At the end of that, I'm going to do a slight bend on 16, jump to 18 of the 2nd string. And then I'm going to do a slight bend, which would be a slight dive on the whammy. But because I'm not cool enough, I'm doing a bend there. So I've got, it jumps to 17 and then resolves to 16 of the 3rd. I do a slide there, but obviously there's a whammy there for all the cool people. So let's have a look at that last chunk a little bit slower. All right, let's go right from the start of the section at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from The Sin and The Sentence by Trivium. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please click the links in the description box to my Facebook fan page, my Patreon, and my Udemy course on modes. Catch you guys all very soon.